Hello everyone, welcome back, how are you doing today? So today we're having a very nice, sit-back, chill kind of commentary. We are watching a nice demo from a stream I played a couple of weeks ago. There's going to be two halves to the game today. We've got one on an American server later on Borneo, and this one today on a European server on Double Cross. And the main reason that I'm doing it in a post-commentary style is because I want to have a proper chat, a proper sit-down and a proper chat without having any distractions, and it also gives you some nice stuff to look at in the background, because to be honest, if I'm recording while I'm talking, I tend to be a little shit, but we're going to not worry about that today. Yes, of course, that'll be the topic of discussion today, is of course having like a proper mindset. Like, I've been thinking about doing a video like this for a little while, especially now I've been doing more and more kind of more weird commentaries, and someone just straight up suggested to me, hello, could you do a video talking about, you know, how to just avoid fretting and how to keep a positive mindset? And a fairly, you know, common thing to hear on streams or on my Discord is, oh, Woolen, you always seem kind of mellow, how come you never get angry at the game? I just saw you, know, die to a random crit rocket after getting a kill that you deserved, what's up, why don't you really mind? And I think that's basically what we're going to talk about today, because I do feel like it is something that you can kind of learn and train to do, if only a little bit, and it is something that really helps when it comes to playing video games, is just keeping a calm mind at all times. So the first thing I want to cover is kind of, in terms of being a reactory person, like how you react to things, something which you kind of end up learning after playing a certain game for a really long time is that you kind of stop reacting to stuff. Like me, most of my friends, we've all got thousands and thousands of hours. I think I've got, like, right now about 6,500 hours in TF2, I think. So, like, one of the things that might cause people to just kind of stop really worrying about these kinds of things is it's probably happened, and it's probably happened quite a lot of times. So, you know, whenever I die to a random crit rocket, or I miss a close-range headshot that I really deserved, I just kind of sit back and I'm like, well, there's no really any point worrying about it. I just sit and respawn. Nothing's really lost but my time, and to be honest, I'm only really doing this to kind of spend my time anyway, so it's kind of part of the game and you have to learn to live with it. The game does have a lot of randomness to it. There are a lot of things that can go wrong, but like worrying about these things doesn't seem to ever help the problem. If you're starting to get angry, like, you know, if someone is just destroying you, you're playing sniper v sniper and someone is just doing way better than you, but not only are they being better than you, they're also being a bit of a bumhole. You know, maybe they're taunting all the time, maybe they're writing naughty things in chat, maybe they even add you to like a Steam group that says, you're smelly, I don't like you. How on earth do you avoid not getting angry at this man? Clearly he's trying to harass you, or he's trying to be angry, or he's trying to get some kind of reaction out of you. How do you avoid these kinds of things? Well, one of them is, this is like a genuine thing to do. In TF2, I play with all game communications off. It kind of takes a little bit out of the game, because a lot of it is just like the weird things you see in chat. But genuinely, if you do, I think it's something along the lines of HUD say text time 0 and voice _ enable 0, completely disables the chat and completely disables the voice chat. So that completely removes some parts of the game, which I think are just bollocks. There's people who have, like, they have keys on their keyboards bound to say things in chat that are just not very nice at all, and if you just never see them, you never get the opportunity to get angry. Sometimes I'll be on stream and someone will say and mumble, they say, hey Woolen, this man's clearly, like, trying to be a dick to you, why aren't you doing anything about it? It's like, well, I didn't even notice, I didn't even see any different, I didn't see he was doing anything at all, I just saw he was playing TF2, so yeah. If you are the kind of person who just, sometimes you read chat, someone says, oh wow, you're really bad, or oh wow, you're really good, even has the same effect to me. It's when someone's like, and someone recognizes you, it kind of, you start to play really bad, and it starts to get a bit scary, you're like, oh god, what if I misplay? Just removing chat, while it does leave out some of the stuff, like, you know, people shouting Putis in chat and writing out the whole B-movie script, or whatever the hell people tend to put in chat, it just completely removes that kind of malicious part of the game that does exist. You can't do anything without a lot of work to get rid of the names of, like, people's scatterguns and stuff. So if someone kills you with their scattergun and it's just called you smell, you just kind of have to live with it and just assume they have the, you know, the brain mentality of a child. Which brings me on to my second point, is the maturity. If you are a very, very young person, you might not quite understand what I mean, and, you know, if you're a lot older and wiser than me, you might not understand what I mean either, but I feel like it's, the older you get, the less you care about a lot of things. When you're a kid, and when you're young, you really, really want to kind of speak out, you want to be boisterous. Not necessarily, but many people do. And as a result, when it comes to video games, especially competitive video games like TF2, the moment they start doing really good or really bad, they want everyone to know. They want to be the center of attention. So if I'm in a pub and there's someone running around just being a humongous twat, basically. My instant assumption is that they're basically just a child, and getting angry at them is the equivalent of being, I don't know, you go to like some kind of LAN, like a Smash Melee LAN, and there's like a 12-year-old yelling at you. The equivalent to me in getting angry in TF2 at these kinds of people is the equivalent of just like punching that child in the face. Like, society doesn't even let you do that. You're not allowed to punch children in the face. Nor that I really particularly want to, but just for the sake of the story, if someone's being a dick in TF2, I just assume they're a child, and it may not be right. They may be an adult who just does not like certain things, but like, for the most part, it kind of helps me not get angry at things, because what's the point in getting angry at a child? They're probably missing out on certain things, they don't really know a lot yet, they're still young, they're still learning. Maybe, you know, in a couple of years in the future, they'll look back to their times where they were running around in TF2 and spamming naughty things in chat as, like, their blunder years. They'll look back and be like, oh god, how could I ever be like that? How can I ever just be a dick to strangers on the internet for no reason? So yeah. If you want just like a general tip, if there's people who you just can't get out of your head, you know, they're being dicks to you or whatever, just don't feel like, you know, not necessarily feel sorry for them, because that is kind of a dick move. You don't really want to put yourself on a higher tier than everyone else. I personally think that's a really bad thing to do. I think everyone should be relatively equal, you know. People who are just malicious, I think, are a little bit below the people that are just really, really nice. But for the most part, I think you should treat everyone, you know, fairly and equally. If someone is being a dick, you know, even if someone comes into the server, you know, they're aimbotting, they're cheating, they've spent like, you know, £3,000 perfecting an aimbot, they've gone into chat and they're yelling at you, they're following you into every server. This is something that happens a fair amount, actually. So because I do stream, it's not rare that someone will just buy an aimbot and follow me around servers. There's no point in getting angry at it, because this person, they're probably, you know, they could be doing other things, but for some reason they've chosen to spend their time with you. As weird as it sounds, they seem to think that you're important. So even though they're just being, you know, a twat, basically, the reason they're being a twat to you specifically, if that is the case, is because they seem to think that there's something, you know, special about you, even if it's just the fact that loads of people are watching you, and other people will get angry by watching this aimbot man kill you. It just still means that, you know, there's more going on than just the man being a dick. He's being a dick, but, you know, maybe he's got a reason for it. And there's no point in getting angry, because most of the time, that's all they seem to want out of it. You know, people, they don't necessarily want to solve world hunger by following you around servers and killing you instantly. Chances are they just want to see someone get angry. So the moment you go into chat, or you go onto your stream and you start yelling at your webcam, or you start yelling in chat and telling them to stop, you've basically just succeeded for them. You've done what they want you to do. And I think the whole point when it comes across these kinds of people is just to completely ignore them most of the time if you can. But like, if they want something from you and you give it to them, they're probably going to want more of it. If they see that you're getting angry at them, then what's the point in them stopping? Clearly they're getting something out of it, so they're just going to keep going on and on. If you just end up being completely deadpan, and you just completely ignore them, sometimes it infuriates them, especially if they are children. If you're a child and you've just spent your like Christmas money following a streamer around, and the guy just does not care, they tend to get frustrated. Eventually they'll stop. They probably won't do it again in the future. And if it's an adult doing it with just nothing better to do with their time, then they'll probably most of the time end up going onto a new target. I think the worst I've ever had is someone just follow me around for a whole day. You know what I just did? I just went and played in a jump server for a bit, and then like half an hour later, I think I went back to pubs and he just left. He'd just given up. I think he just decided that, like, this man clearly does not really care that he's being headshot by a man in a pub with an aimbot, so what's the point in following him around anymore? This may not necessarily work all of the time, but, like, in general, my tip for, like, kind of nasty people, in this case, is just, if you can ignore them, try to. You know, disabling chat, disabling voice, ignoring them. If they add you on Steam, don't just leave the friend request there. If they send you to a Steam group, just leave the request there. If they start, you know, telling your friends to tell you off or whatever, just completely ignore it. There's no point. They're just some stranger whose whole existence seems to be malicious. So my tip for kind of just keeping a little bit of a positive mindset, even in the face of just everything else being trash in this case, is just to kind of not care. If you can try to not care, it may not be something that you can necessarily do immediately, but eventually you'll learn that there's way more things in life to be worried about than a video game, because that's all it really is at the end of the game. You're playing a video game in the evening, maybe, you know, you've had a long day, a long week, a long month, a long year, whatever it happens to be. You're just sitting out in the evening and you're playing your video game. If you feel like, you know, you're getting upset at it, or things are getting a little bit too much, just consider letting it go and just not really worrying. There's so many more things to worry about than what is essentially a time sink, and if you're getting angry at the time sink, you're not really using it correctly. If you're trying to play this game to get better and ignoring the fun, then that's fine. That's kind of expected. If you just grind MGE or DM all day to try and get the best, you're not exactly necessarily doing it for fun, you're doing it to try and be the best. But if you are just, playing a bit of Team Fortress or whatever in the evening, and you're just feeling a little angry, the man, he's been killing you, he's been taunting, the man's been following you around, been saying nasty things in chat, just do not fret. There's other things going on. That man's probably got maybe some issues that perhaps are outside of your control, and by giving in to the anger, you're basically kind of feeding their anger, and in the end, it's kind of just a big old loop of horribleness. So yeah, I'm trying to kind of give my best advice. I'm not very good at this kind of thing, but I do kind of hope that eventually we'll live in a world where people won't want to be malicious to each other on the internet. They'll all want to have a good time together. And, if you do ever feel yourself just getting angry, remember, there's worse things. Could be worse. Maybe, you've just wasted, a minute, maybe. Just respawn, try another server, play with your friends in another game, even. Just take a break. If it's getting too much, maybe you've been playing for like 8 hours in a day, and you feel like you're not getting anywhere, just put it down. Go do something else for a little bit. Maybe you need to go outside and you need to get some food. Maybe you need to play another game. Maybe you want to watch some YouTube or some Twitch. There is so many other things you can do to spend your time than something which you genuinely dislike. So my final tip of the day is just try, for the love of God, to enjoy yourselves, please. There's only so much longer this game will go on for, even if it's the next 5 years. So try to enjoy it while we still have it. If someone's being a dick, try to ignore them. You can disable voice chat and everything. You can just completely ignore friend requests on Steam. If people are being genuinely malicious and trying to stalk you, you can try and get help from other friends or trying to raise awareness about it. But for the most part, just don't play into anyone's hands if they're being a dick. And if you yourself are feeling a little down or a little sad, try to cheer up. Try to watch something else to distract you. If it helps having like a Twitch stream up or a bit of nice instrumental music or just taking a break, those kinds of things help. But yeah, these are all the things I kind of wanted to discuss today. I didn't really have anything written down, so I just kind of said all of this off the top of my head. So I'm hoping for the most part it was a kind of constant stream, but I apologise if it seemed a little patchy. These are the kind of, it's kind of how I do things here, unfortunately. But yeah, if you did enjoy it, do let me know. If you have other things you want to ask, please. I read every comment. I'm still, nearly 19,000 subscribers, and I still read every single comment and reply to all the ones that I can. So if you do have any troubles, feel free. You can always join the Discord. We're a wonderful bunch here. Just try to have a good time, alright? Thank you very much for watching, though, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.